Good morning. This is the rune of the day. I'm reaching deep and we draw, okay, TYR, and TYR is reversed. TYR is a rune that I draw a lot of meaning from because when it is upright, I'm just going to turn around for a minute. When it is upright, it represents warrior. It represents the god TYR, who is absolutely going to do everything lawfully. He's one of those guys who will fight for the absolute right. And sometimes when he is led into battles like, okay, here's the story. The god TYR was the only one who could raise the wolf Fenris after the Norse gods decided that Loki's children were too troublesome to allow to be left alone to develop on their own. So they took Hela and made her the goddess of the dead. And they took Jormungand and threw him into the river where he became the river serpent. And they took Fenris, whose name I believe literally translates as the wolf of greed. I get that from Maria Cavilhau in her book, Seed of Yggdrasil. It's a good read. And so they brought the wolf back to Asgard and they put him in charge of the god Tyr. And everybody else was afraid of this wolf. But the wolf and Tyr were friends until the group of the gods were so afraid of how big this wolf was getting that they needed to put him in chains. And they tried one kind of chain, they tried another kind of chain, nothing held him. So they finally invented this chain that they were absolutely sure were going to hold this wolf, but the wolf by now was a little bit leery of being chained up. So he said, if I try this, which one of you will put your arm in my mouth so that I know you will be good for your word? And Tyr was the only one who had the courage to do this. So while the rest of the gods are quaking around their fear of Fenris, Tyr, who Fenris trusted, puts his arm in the wolf's mouth. The rest of them chain the wolf. The wolf cannot break free, so he bites off Tyr's arm. So Tyr was in that unenviable position of having to, this is my interpretation, he betrayed Fenris in order to protect his group, the Aesir. So he was in that unenviable position of having to take a side. He is a god of integrity and purpose. So this rune comes up upside down today. And because I see this rune so much as a rune of the integrity of a warrior, and it's upside down reversed. So instead of the strength of a warrior, there is maybe a challenge coming up today that will put you in a position that you don't want to be in, where you might have to make a choice that you don't want to make, but you will have to make that choice anyway. Or not. The only way to be a person of integrity is to stand by your values. And sometimes our values come into conflict. So that's my interpretation on this rune today. This is the rune TYR, otherwise known as TEIWAZ, and I'm Susan of the North with the rune of the day.